Okay. So we started on the Egel. Lamed Beis Hey. In 494. 494, 7 lines from the top. So Aaron tells them to go get the gold from their wives and daughters. That's what we were talking about yesterday, from the wives and the daughters, and they go and they take their own gold. And Vayikach miyadam, he takes the what do you call it? He takes it from their hands. Pasuk Daled. Vayotzar oso bacheret. He makes it in how does he translate it? In a cloth, somehow, however you manipulate gold. Vayaseu egel masecha vayomer. The people declare, Eila Elohecha Yisrael asher elucha me'eretz Mitzrayim. This is your God, O Israel, took you out of Egypt. So he said yesterday, the people were not. You're not talking about people who are mentally incompetent. They know that this wasn't what took them out of. They saw it just came out of the fire, so they can't mean. It obviously doesn't mean what it sounds like, and it means that this was the intermediary replacement. In other words, what they felt was there are commentaries who say that Moshe Rabbeinu exerted an influence on God. They thought that Moshe Rabbeinu was so beyond their comprehension that he already, and now this is what, and that really God taking them out of Egypt was only a result of Moshe Rabbeinu's exerting an influence on him. That's one of the approaches among the commentaries here. Not one of the commentaries says that they looked at the calf and says that this was the God that took them out of Egypt. Not one of the Mefarshim says that. Because it can't be. It doesn't make any sense. Okay. So, Vayar Aaron. Now you got a problem over here. Because once they decide that this is the God, they're going to start worshiping. So, in Pasuk Hey, Vayar Aaron, Vayiven Mizbeach Lefanav. Aaron saw, and therefore he built an altar. Vayikra Aaron Vayomer Chag LaHashem Mochar. Aaron said, we'll make a festival for Hashem tomorrow. Now the word Vayiven, which is he built, can also be understood as Vayiven from the term Havana. Havana means understanding. And Mizbeach, meaning which reads as altar, if you rearrange the vowels, it could be read as Mizavuach, the one that was slaughtered. So what it says is that Aaron understood from the one who was slaughtered in front of him. Who got slaughtered here? Who got slaughtered? No. Hur got slaughtered. The Medrash says Hur stood up against the Jewish people, and the Jewish people killed him. The Jewish people killed Hur. And if you stop and think about the irony there, is there a trouble? Is that door open? Is it closed? I didn't think so. The what do you call it? The Hur, they say, the Hur, what do you call it? Hur stood up against the people. And the people went and killed Hur. And therefore, Chazal say, even Rashi brings down over here, Vayiven mizavuach lefanav. Look at Rashi. It's on the left side. Left column, about 8 lines from the top. Do you see left column? Umedrasho b'vayikra rabba. Dvarim harbe ra Aaron. Aaron saw a lot of things here. Ra Hur ben Achosa. He saw Hur, his sister's son. Shehaya mochicham. He was rebuking them. Vehargu. They killed him. They killed Hur. V'zeu vayiven mizbeach lefanav. Rashi reads the vayaven. He understood mizavuach lefanav from the one who was slaughtered in front of him. Aaron understood the people are in a bad way over here, and if he protests, they're going to kill him. Now, what's the obvious question?
But it just got told, and it says in the Taz don't kill. And
right.
Right.
It also says don't worship idols, and they're worshiping.
Like a lot of different things.
A lot of different things, right? Right. Yeah. So we said yesterday, they're in a. First of all, according to most of the commentators, this wasn't the Jewish people; it was the Erev Rav. It was the mixed multitude of Moshe Rabbeinu brought out. Number one. Number two, whatever it was that got them in this frenzy of irrationality, there was a frenzy over here, and they were behaving in a not rational. Especially, you just got the Torah. And that's why it's the whole thing is difficult to understand. But there's only one thing. There's one response. The Torah says they did it. You know, we see people in life doing a lot of stuff that you would think, you know, you just got married. Why are you hollering at your wife? Well, what do you think I got married for? Well, no, that's not, you know, yeah. You just got the job. Why are you going and making suggestions to the boss? A lot of people do a lot of irrational things in life. You just got your car. Why are you speeding? Why are you driving recklessly? You just got out of driver's education and you learned what could happen. You just saw the videos and the films of what happens. You just saw what drugs do to you. So why are you doing cocaine? It happens all the time in life. That's one of the lessons over here where how irrational people can become real quick. How irrational. You talk about this is the greatest people in history over here. You just received the Torah. You're already going off to the bed. You're going to, so quickly you went off. They were. And that's what the whole thing over here does. That's why it can't. Now, your question is an excellent question. That's the proof that it can't be what the words of the Torah say literally. That there's something a little more sophisticated going on over here. But at the end of the day, Hur gets up, and I guarantee you if they killed Hur, there was justification for killing him. And I'll give you one example how it could be. Hur gets up and says, don't do it. You're going to get all the rest of us killed because we need an intermediary now because we're in a desert without a leader. And if we don't put this together, it's pikuach nefesh. We have to kill you. Probably turned it into a mitzvah, like everything else we do in life. Make a mitzvah out of it. Whatever the case is, hold for a second. Whatever the case is, so Aaron goes and he says, whoa, they killed him. I better do something or otherwise they're going to kill me. What's the obvious question? What's that? You have to give up your life for idol worship.
But my question, why he didn't ascend to the mountain himself?
He's not allowed to ascend to the mountain. There's no indication that Aaron could ascend to the mountain. Moshe Rabbeinu ascended to the mountain, and to the contrary, and Moshe Rabbeinu didn't descend. That's a good reason not to ascend, because if he didn't descend, when he said he would, the chances are he's not going to be descending. The point is like this. He's asking the correct question. In other words, there's a halacha. You can't be involved in idol worship. And not only you can't be involved in worship, you can't be involved in even Abu Zrayu. Abu Zrayu means anything involving idol worship. Aaron's going to go and he's going to go build an eagle. He's going to make an image that now the Jewish people are going to worship. Hur was willing to give up his life. Aaron, much lesser Jews in history have given up their lives rather than embrace Christianity. In the Middle Ages, Jews got killed al Kiddush Hashem. Many Jews gave up their lives rather than embracing Christianity. So why didn't Aaron do it? Aaron's on a higher level than Hur. The answer is what the commentaries say. This appears all over the place. That Aaron understood. We see later on in history. Later on, let's take a ride. Everybody ready go for a ride? We're going to go forward and backwards, right? Aaron is looking on. He's got Ruach HaKodesh. Now, the Gemara in Gittin says when Nebuchadnezzar sent the man Nebuzaradan was his main general, and he perpetrated the slaughter in Jerusalem and destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, of the first Beis Hamikdash. So Nebuzaradan went and slaughtered. He saw blood boiling. There was blood on the ground that was boiling. The blood kept boiling. Blood, bubbling, boiling blood. The BBB, the bubbling, boiling blood. Say that real fast, 20 times. Bubbling, boiling blood. So Nebuzaradan said, okay, what is that blood? So he said, that's the blood of Zechariah. That's the blood of the prophet Zechariah, who the Jews themselves had killed. And there was first they told him what do you call it? They said no. They made an excuse. So he said I forgot what they said. The first thing they said. He started slaughtering Jews. Oh, I know what they said. It's the blood of Zechariah that's bubbling. So he started slaughtering Jews and pouring their blood on that blood to get it to stop bubbling, and it wouldn't stop bubbling. That's what the Gemara says. The blood wouldn't stop. And he slaughtered, I think, 940,000 Jews, close to 1 million Jews, and poured their blood onto the blood of Zechariah, and it wouldn't stop bubbling. That's what the Gemara says. Do we have a Gemara Gittin here? Where's it going? Is there? We're learning Gittin. There better be a Gittin. There's a Gittin right here. No, it's right here on the table. There's a Gittin. I forgot, we're learning Gittin. How do you like that? How do you like that? So, look at that. Siyata Dishai. Oh, I almost opened to the right place. Okay, so it's a Gemara in Gittin, but it talks about the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. So the Gemara says that he saw this blood boiling. And then, where is it? Okay. So he said that he started killing them. And here we go. No, that's the wrong Reb Zechariah. Where is it? 1 second here. No. Yeah, here we go. So it's in Davdun Zayin of Beis. He saw the blood of Zechariah that was boiling. He said, "What is this?" They said, "Oh, this is the blood of sacrifices that was poured. That was poured out, the regular animal sacrifices." So he brought animal sacrifice. He brought some blood, and the blood on the ground didn't calm down. So he said, "Okay, if you tell me, fine. If not, I'm gonna what do you call you? I'm gonna rip you apart with metal combs." So they said, "What can we tell you? This was a prophet who used to rebuke us, and we killed him. And it's many years that his blood hasn't stopped boiling." So Nebuzaradan said, "All right, I'll calm him down." And he started killing people. And he kept killing people and pouring the blood on them. And eventually he said, "Zechariah, I've killed the best." Nebuzaradan spoke to the blood of Zechariah. He said, "Zechariah, Tovim Shebem, I've killed the best of them. You want me to kill all of them?" So when he said that, the blood rested. Now this is Nebuchadnezzar, who's the main slaughterer. This is the who was Hitler's main slaughterer? What's his name? Eichmann. And what do you got? This is Eichmann to Nebuchadnezzar's Hitler. And eventually Gemara says, once he saw all this happen, he says, "Whoa, if this is not good." Yeah, he said, if for killing one person that's what happens, imagine what's going to happen to me. He went and he converted to Judaism. After saying Nebuzaradan committed to Judaism. How do you like that? Now, Aaron HaKohen had some sort of Ruach HaKodesh, and he understood that if the Jewish people, they killed Chur, is one thing. If you kill a prophet, there's no forgiveness for the Jewish people. They'll be completely annihilated. Where does he know that from? Look what happened by Zechariah. They would have all died. Until Nebuzaradan spoke to the blood, they would have all. Aaron was not, of course he would be willing to give up his life. Every simple Jews are willing to give up their life not to worship idols. Aaron felt under the circumstances, I've got the lesser of two evils over here. Sometimes in life you have that situation. It's the lesser of two evils. And neither choice is a great choice. Neither choice is a great choice. You want the window seat or the middle seat on a transcontinental flight with somebody on the outside who weighs over 400 pounds. Right? Which seat do you want? Right? And neither one's a great choice. All right, either way, I'm not going anywhere for the next 12 hours. I actually heard about a guy sitting on the plane. The guy's sitting there, and all of a sudden some guy comes walking down the aisle. I mean, this guy's really robust. Anyways, and this guy's about 350 pounds. And this guy's sitting in the seat, and he's getting comfortable on the flight, and this guy looks at me and goes, "Do you know who I am?" The guy looks up and goes, "No." He goes, "I'm your worst nightmare." and he sits down next to him. So Aaron understood you got two bad choices over here. One is the egel, and one is worse. I'll protest like Chur did, they'll kill me, and then what happens? Then there's no hope for the Jewish people. At that point, there's no hope for the Jewish people. So Aaron says this is the lesser of two. But he still tries stall tactics. What does he do? In Pasuk Hey, we're up at 494. 494, 5 lines to the bottom. He says, Chag LaHashem Mochar. Chag LaHashem Mochar. That it's going to be tomorrow is going to be the, what do you call it? Now, this idea of Mochar is a fascinating word. The idea of Mochar is really fascinating. First of all, I want to show you something. You know how you were bringing up about how unreasonable the people have become. You know how super unreasonable they become? Who did they kill? They killed Hur. Now, who was Hur's mother? Miriam. What did Miriam do for the Jewish people?
Save Moses.
She saved babies. Not just Moshe. She saved babies. She saved their children. There's some of these people who either they were the children who were saved or their own children were saved. And this lady who saved your children, you go and you kill her son. Can you imagine how unreasonable that becomes? That's the state they were in. They're in a panicked frenzy. So what does Aaron say to them? Ve'omer chag la'Hashem mochar. Tomorrow we're going to we'll make a festival. What's his point in saying mochar? What's his point in saying mochar? As a stall tactic, right? But he's trying to communicate something to them by saying mochar. You know what he's communicating? What's he communicating to them? He's saying, hey, think about consequences in life. Mochar, there's going to be a tomorrow. Think about the future. Don't just act on the spur of the moment. Don't just live for today. Right now, you're living for today. Think about tomorrow. Think about your consequences. A person should always think about the consequences of their actions. Think about what could happen over here. Ezu chacham, it says. Who's a wise man? Haroa es hanolad, one who sees what the consequences of his actions are going to be. Think ahead. Hey, listen, this isn't, where are we going with this? The person sometimes has a temptation. Are you sure you want to do that? Sometimes they sell these, what do you call these? They have these Doritos that they sell. I say on the cover, the Doritos. So what do they have? There's a picture of a devil with a fire, and they have hot burn. So you eat these Doritos. They're great going down. Some of them I can't even get in my mouth. They're so hot. But what's going to happen 4 hours later? Then you get a pain in the chest. You get a heartburn over there. It sounds like a volcano in Iceland. You wake up at 3 a.m. You go to a Chinese restaurant, eat Chinese food, and you have Chinese MSG, and you know that there's going to be an explosion later. There's going to be a reckoning. So think, is that really what you want to do? Is that really what you want to get involved in? Think of the consequences. So that's mochar. That theme of mochar, there's another time in life we find mochar. You know where that is? Esther she goes to Achashverosh. Who's the arch nemesis there? Haman, the Amalekite. She invites Achashverosh to a party. And party time, right, with Haman. And they get to this first little banquet, a quaint little banquet, just the three of them. And at the banquet, Achashverosh says, okay, remember the first time she comes in, Achashverosh says to her, okay, what do you want, lady? Anything you want. I'll give you up to half the throne. I love you. Anything you want. I'll give you up to half the throne. He goes, I would like you and Haman to come to the banquet with me tomorrow. Oh, okay, we'll come to the banquet. And what did she say at the banquet? At the banquet, she says, and tomorrow I'll tell you what I want. Why tomorrow? Esther is also with tomorrow. Because tomorrow is the opposite of Amalek. What does Amalek live for? Amalek lives for today. Mochar is a theme. Tomorrow. A Jew thinks about tomorrow because ultimately, there's a tomorrow, an eternal tomorrow. My brother once told me this is very true. Every trait that a person, there's certain innate traits that we're made up of. For example, and you're never going to suppress them. All you're going to do, and if you try to, it's like water if water's trying to burst out one place, if you plug that hole, what happens? The water's just going to force itself up somewhere else. So we are made up of various traits. Now, when you think of the Jews, what did the Goyim think of us, guys? What's the stereotype of the Jew? Money. Right? Jews are into money. Yeah, Jews are into money. That's a stereotype. Jews are smart. Jews are into money. Jews control the whole world economy. Which, by the way, I can't say it's not true, but that is the stereotype of the Jews. Okay. Now, what do Jews do with money?
Give it away.
Some of it. Build, invest, save. I once asked the guy in the yeshiva, I was talking to one of the guys here, and I was asking about his family background, they're schmoozing. So I asked him about his parents' financial financial situation. He goes, well, because they had to buy something or he had to pay for something. Everyone else like, can your parents afford to pay for it? Listen, I'm sure they got a savings account. Jews always have another savings account somewhere. Jews save. Jews are very cautious with money. If you compare it to the spending habits of, say, professional basketball players, I once read to say the average NBA player spends over $40,000 a month. Jews don't. Jews spend $40,000 in a lifetime, right? No matter how much money they have. Jews spend $40,000. Do not spend $40,000 a month, unless it's on sale, right? unless it's on sale. Jews don't spend $40,000 a month. Now, where's that coming from? The answer is, why do you save? You're saved because you're focused on the future. We're created, listen to this very, very penetrating concept. We are created to focus on the future. Which future? Olam Haba, the eternal future. If you take that energy and you slightly rechannel it somewhere and put it in this world, that same trait is going to come out. Where's that trait going to go? Just take it this way. We're focused on the future of this world. But focus on the future, that's going to happen. Jews are called the people of the book. Right? The people of the book. Yeah. Which book? Well, ask any secular Jew, and you have secular Jews who are running a business. I remember a multimillionaire's got a fur business. A multimillionaire with his fur business. And he's got a kid. What does he do to his kid? He sends him to college to get an education. Education's important. Education's important. Put him in the business, man. You got a multi-million-dollar fur business. Make a beaver out of him. You gotta send him to college to get an education? What is he gonna make a master in micro-brewing, right? That's the education he's gonna get in college. What are you saying? Because why does Jew have what's inside of us? There's an idea of education. Which education? Torah education. If it's slightly, you take that same energy and you just slightly mischannel it, where's it gonna, the Jews are always gonna go to education. Which education? Well, if it's supposed to be Torah education, just slightly, they put an emphasis on different education. What's the stereotype of Jewish mother? What's the stereotype of Jewish mother? Strong, controlling. Right? Nervous, they're all nervous. Right? What's a strong, controlling, the pushy Jewish mother? Right? Of course she's pushy. You know what she's supposed to push her? You know where she's supposed to push? She's pushed her husband and her sons to study Torah. That's where she's supposed to push. Whether they do it overtly, whether they do it with subtlety, whether they do it pleasantly, but they push. One way or another, they push. If they bribe you with a good dinner and an apple pie, that's also pushing you. But one way or another, they're going to push. And if you somewhat mischannel, they push you to become a doctor, a lawyer, whatever they consider prestigious. But the pushy Jewish rush, you're going to push. It's the same energy. It's going to come out. No matter what happens, it's going to come out. So the Torah is telling you over here. Chag LaHashem Bachar. Amalek is focused on today. We have an energy, we have an ability to think about the future. Think about the future. Think about your consequences of your action. That's why Aaron's trying to stall them off. Okay? Now look what happens next. This is absolutely enchanting. Vayashkimu mimacharas. The people get up early the next day, which indicates what? If they're getting up Shachris, they're getting up to daven nates, huh? If people get up early to do something, if people get up with enthusiasm, what do you always have to suspect? It's not a good thing. If you're enthusiastic about something, about doing something, you probably shouldn't be doing it. If you have two choices of mitzvahs, how do you know which one to do? Do the one that you're less excited about. The one you're very excited about, chances are you may get yourself into trouble. You know how many times I've been asked here over the years, I've been asked by guys, should we do a mitzvah, go downtown and beat up missionaries? A mitzvah. It's a big mitzvah, yeah. To open up a Gemara Baba Kama, Gemara Gittin is also a mitzvah. No, but this is a mitzvah, yeah. If you're eager to do a mitzvah, chances are, because I know that when I go to Minyan in the morning, I'm not running, I'm not jumping out of bed to go davening. And sometimes when you got to go to a shir, you're also, I don't know. Oh, there's a what do you call it? There's somebody getting married. Let's go do the mitzvah to be sameach the chassan. Oh, that all of a sudden we're eager about. Oh, that you're eager about. You guys have to check. Eager is not always a great sign. All of a sudden, vayashkimu b'bachras. The next morning they get up bright and early. Now watch what they do. Watch this. This is so, it can give you the goosebumps. Vayalu olos, they bring offerings. An ola is a sacrifice which is completely burnt on the altar. The offerings. Vayigishu shlomim. Shlomim are what's called peace offerings. You know, the shlomim in the Beis Hamikdash, part of it gets burnt and part of it goes to the owner. Vayoshev ha'am lechol v'shaso, then they got involved in eating and drinking. Vayakumu l'tzachek, and then they get up to make merry. And Rashi says l'tzachek is a terminology that always involves immorality. Immorality. And it also involves, it's a terminology that involves murder, shfichus damim, and idol worship. So look at the progression here, gentlemen. Look at the progression, because this is how you see how eternal the Torah is, how the Torah is timeless. They start out with olos, shlomim, eating and drinking, and then immorality. Every movement in the world always starts out as an ideal, doesn't it? Idealistic move, communism, right? This ism, that ism, it's idealistic. What happens in every movement? They start out as idealistic, then you take a little bit for yourself, then you take all of it for yourself, then you get involved in inappropriate behavior completely. So here's the new movement, the golden calfism. And how does it start? Total devotion, olos, offerings, complete give of everything to the God, to the new idol. Yeah, the total devotion. And then what did you get to? You went from olos, then you downgraded a little bit to shlomim, a little bit for the idol, a little bit for me. Now there's all of a sudden something in it for me. Then you get to what? Vayeshab lechol v'shasod. Then they're sitting and eating and drinking. Nothing for the idol, all for me. And then you go to the next step, which is completely deviant behavior, which is immorality. And that's every single movement that you'll ever see in the world. Every single movement. Where do the communist leaders, where do they live? And what do they eat?
Palaces.
What? Palaces. You ever see Putin's got his it's beyond the palace. You ever see a picture of what Putin's got over there? Where is it? In
Yalta.
Yalta, he's got a hockey rink underneath there in his palace. He's got a hockey rink. We're not talking about a small swimming pool. He's got a hockey rink there, like I likes ice skating, right? He got a hockey rink down there, and he's got what do you call it? It looks like a fortress he's got there, right? What happened to communist ideal? All the communist leaders, they all did what's it called, a dasha? A dasha? What's a dasha?
It's like a small suburban town.
A small suburban town, which each one owns, where all the other people have to have wheat rations, in their house for a common. It always like that. You have a cause, you have an ideal, and the next thing you know, it's slowly but surely you lose the idealism, and it all becomes about you, and not only about you to eat and drink. Then you get into debauchery, you get into all sorts of inappropriate behavior. That's the progression here. Okay. In the meantime, back on the mountain, the Torah goes back to Moshe Rabbeinu now, and then we break to see what's happening up there. Vayomer Hashem al Moshe. Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, Lech raid, go down. Ki shiches amcha asher alisa me'eretz Mitzrayim. Your people have gone off. Oh, my people. Sometimes in the house they'll say, my wife will say, your children are misbehaving. Hey, lady, why are they all of a sudden they're my children? So Hashem says, your children have gone off. So that's why the commentaries say, who is he referring to? Who started the trouble here? Who started the trouble? It was the Erev Rav. The Erev Rav, Amcha, you Moshe Rabbeinu, you brought them out. The Erev Rav were the mixed multitudes. Moshe Rabbeinu took a group of people out of Egypt who decided we'll convert them. With all the good intentions, by the way, to try to bring them under God's jurisdiction as well. We'll convert them. We'll make them. But if you got a good idea in life, you ever have a good idea? Well, just run it past me. Just ask me before you do it. If it's such a good idea, just ask me. Moshe Rabbeinu, it's a great idea. Why don't you check with God first? He says, okay, they veered off the path and they make this egel. Okay. Then in Pasuk Test, Vayomer Hashem al Moshe, 496. Ra'isi esa amazeh, I see this people, 3 lines from the top. V'hinei am kshei orafu. They're a stiff-necked people. Jews are called a stiff-necked people. Right? Jews are stiff-necked. Now, I want to show you something. Take a look. Compare this to Ladal Test. Keep your finger on the place here and compare this to Ladal Test. This is on page, where is it? 510, thank you. Ladal Test. Okay. This is where Moshe Rabbeinu is begging for forgiveness for the Jewish people. Ladal Test, 34:9, page 510, top line. Moshe says, if I find favor in your eyes, Hashem, Yelechna Hashem b'kirbeinu, may Hashem rejoin us, go in our midst. Why? Ki am kshei orafu, because the Jewish people are stubborn. And you should forgive us. I mean, it sounds like Moshe Rabbeinu saying, well, I want you to, Hashem says, oh, these people are stubborn. No bunch of no good stubborn. That's what it says by us. The Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, look, I see these people, they're stubborn people. That wasn't a praise, they're just worshiping the Hashem's not in a good mood. Kaviyocho, as if. We can say that about Hashem. The people, they're a stubborn people. And all of a sudden, when Moshe Rabbeinu is begging for mercy, he says, please, Hashem, have mercy on us, because they're stubborn people. All right, stubborn good or stubborn is not good? Stubborn good or stubborn not good? So, depends how you use it. Depends how you. There isn't any trait in the world which is an inherent good or not good. Is it good to be pride? To have pride? Yeah, a certain amount of pride is good. We're proud of being Jewish, and a person should be proud of being a human being, and he should dress in accordance with that. How much pride? You shouldn't become haughty. You shouldn't become arrogant, and you've crossed the line. But a person should not behave in a way that degrades himself. That's not humility. Being degraded, walking around in bare feet with torn, smelly clothing that's not humility. That's degrading. Be able to take a little pride in being a human being. So pride could be used both ways. Can envy be used? Sure. If I'm envious of somebody else's good deeds, and therefore it motivates me to be involved in good, that's a healthy envy. If I'm envy of somebody and therefore I want to take them down, that's not a good envy. But you could use any trait. How could you use stubbornness properly? How could stubbornness be a good trait?
Stick with God.
Yeah, very good. Ooh, good. The Jews have been very loyal for 2,000 years of getting hammered around, and we're still going to the base medrash and saying, we hope to see a return to Zion, and we're still davening 3 times a day and only eating kosher slaughtered birds. That's pretty good considering what we've been through. That means, and when the Christians told the Jews at sword point to bow to kiss the cross, and they wouldn't do it. That takes a certain amount of. Can you imagine telling a Catholic guy, "I want you to go into shul and kiss the Aron Kodesh, or we're going to kill you"? Right? Imagine telling that to a Catholic. What do you think the reaction would be? Where's the shul? Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. Can you imagine telling, hey, you're not going to tell me what to do. That's kind of the Am Sheorov. And by the way, you experience this every day when you're learning. When you're learning Gemara with your chavrusa, and you say, I think that's what the Gemara, it does not mean that. And until you convince me, you could hit me, and you could punch me, and you could throttle me, and I don't think that's Pshat and Tosos. And you're not going to force me to believe that's Pshat and Tosos until I'm convinced myself. That's an Am Sheorov. So it could be a positive or negative. God says to Moshe Rabbeinu, hey, listen, I see these people. They're stiff-necked people. Ve'ata. Now here's a strange pasuk, gentlemen. Take a look. Ve'ata hanicholi. 4 lines to the top. 496. V'yichar api bam v'achalem. Please allow me to go and destroy them. I'll leave you alive, make you into a good nation. Please, Moshe, let me destroy them. So I saw Rav Shach Zatzal in his Sefer Berosh Amona. Rav Shach says, you see from here how big a human being could be. Some people, they're big people and they're little people. and it has nothing to do with your size. There are big people and little people. So Rav Shach gives an example. Where's the first example in history? Cain and Hevel divided up the world. When they were born, Adam Rishon had 2 sons, Cain and Hevel. They divided up the world. Cain took the karka, the real estate, and Hevel took the metaltalin. He took the movables, the chattel. They made a division. They said, let's divide up the world. That's what the Medrash says. Let's divide up the world. I'll take the real estate. You take it. It's like moving into you'll divide. I'll take the house. You take all the movables. Okay, it's an interesting division. Problem is that as soon as they divided it, Cain then said to Hevel, okay, get your feet off my earth. What? Get your feet off my earth. And that led to a fight, and he killed him. It's an example how you got a whole earth over here. Am I bothering you? That much you can't let me stay in one place over here? That's how small a person could be. How big could a person be? A person could be so big that God turns to you and says, hey, let me get angry and destroy them. That's how big a person is. You got a Moshe Rabbeinu, who HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Moshe Rabbeinu, let me get angry and destroy the Jewish people. Now, fascinating idea here. What's the difference between a mitzvah saseh and a mitzvah lo saseh? What's the difference between a positive command and a negative command? Oh, one's positive, one's negative. Yeah, that's true. Well, what else is the difference? Let's say a person eats treif. Do you get punished? Sure do. In the time of Beis Din, if there are 2 witnesses, what would they do, Dill? 2 witnesses? They whip you. They whip you. It's corporal punishment. We don't take that. It's like, what do you call it? We don't, it's not like, oh, we'll send you, try better next time. Yeah, you will try better next time. After getting some rawhide, after being introduced to some rawhide, you'll try better next. People say, well, doesn't that take away your free will? We hope so. We certainly hope so. It doesn't take away your free will, but it certainly inspires better use of your free will. I just think a guy's nipping at a cheeseburger, and there are 2 witnesses, and they say, "Come here, Chaim," and they bring him to Beis Din. How was that cheeseburger? Yeah, it was pretty good. Oh yeah, well, not that good. Crunch, never again. Bang, bang, bang. It's like the guy sitting in a McDonald's. Guy sitting in McDonald's eating a cheeseburger. And the rabbi at the shul drives past. And he says, hey, there's Goldstein. He's sitting there eating a cheeseburger. And a big window in the restaurant like a McDonald's. So the rabbi comes up to the window and he looks in, and Goldstein's sitting there chowing down on this cheeseburger, and he looks up, he sees the rabbi, and he just continues eating. And the rabbi's just livid. Finally, Goldstein finishes eating and he walks out. He says, Goldstein, what's going on over here? You're eating a cheeseburger? You didn't see me watching? He says, yeah, I saw you. And you still continued eating? He says, yeah, I figured if you're watching, it's under rabbinic supervision, so I could eat it. In the old days, it didn't work. There weren't no rabbinic supervision. You did something wrong. Okay. What about let's say you have a positive command to put up a mitzvah, to wear tefillin. It's a positive command. You didn't wear tefillin. What happens to a person? No flogging, no corporal punishment. Under most circumstances, no corporal punishment. Except that be'idan rischa, when Hashem is upset with somebody, or the world, however it is, but the Zohar, I think the source is the Zohar, or maybe the Gemara. Be'idan rischa, when Hashem is angry, He collects for that also. Then a person gets punished for that. It happens in the house also. Sometimes you're running up a bill. You're running up an account. And then one day you really mess up bad. And your dad finally punishes you. He says, that's for driving drunk, and this is what's happening. And when you didn't mow the lawn when I asked you to either. Right? Then he tags it, he throws it all in there, right? That's called Idad Rischa. Right? You can get away with it, till you cross a certain line, then kaboom. You get it for that also. I used to get it in school for that all the time. I got away with it until you cross line. Then they gave you the whole package. Here, the Torah comes along and the Torah says, "Listen, who did the averos here? Who did the avera here? It was the Erev Rav. So why are the Jewish people getting punished? Why should the Jewish people get punished for the Erev Rav? Ooh. What did the Jewish people do or not do? They didn't stand up and rebuke the Erev Rav. You didn't rebuke. There's a mitzvah, there's a positive command to rebuke or try to at least influence somebody who's about to sin. And the Jewish people were passive. You neglected a positive command. When does God punish for a positive command? When does God punish for a positive command? Be'idan rischa. When he gets upset, when he's angry, that's when he punishes for a neglect of a positive command. Look at the pasuk very precisely. Ve'atah hanichali. God says to Moshe Rabbeinu, let me get angry. Oh, let me get angry, and then what? Then I can take it out on them because they neglected the positive command. Only because I got angry, you understand? Isn't that beautiful? Because what did they do wrong? They didn't worship. Oh, but you didn't protest. You didn't protest, so what do we need? You got to get angry in order to be able to punish you for not protesting. Somebody says, why doesn't God just say, in other words, why didn't God just say, let me destroy them? He doesn't. God kind of he says, let me get angry and then destroy them. What do you need that middle part for? Oh, because very well, here's the thumb. Oh, because the punishment is for neglect of a positive command, not doing something wrong. So he says, let me get angry and I'll destroy them. And I'll make you. And look what Moshe says to God. One last pasuk we stop. Vayichal Moshe es pnei Hashem l'gav. Moshe appeals to God. Vayomer, Lama Hashem yechareh apcha be'amecha. Why get angry? Oh, that's the key. The key is, does Hashem get angry or not over here? What's the anger? It sounds like a technical detail over here. Moshe Rabbeinu saying, oh, Hashem, don't destroy them. No, we don't have to worry about that. First, just turn off the anger. Turn off the anger, then the destruction won't happen. Because ultimately, the sin of the Jewish people here was neglect of a positive command. That's what Chatzkel Abramsky says. It was neglect of standing up. And what it teaches us, what the Torah is teaching us over here is, we don't live on an island. We are responsible for each other to the degree that you're able to be responsible. This is where the trick is. The trick is, will you have an influence on somebody else? How much influence do you have? And if you don't have any influence, and if what you say or what you attempt to do is going to fail, so forget about it. But if you do have the ability to influence, then we have that responsibility. Okay, yes, it's real good.
Why does God need to ask for permission from Moshe to get angry?
Oh, so the Gemara is good. The Gemara say what God is actually doing is he's trying to, it's like somebody says, go, hold me back, somebody hold me back. Right? What I really want is to be held back. And I'm trying to get you to realize that God is saying to Moshe Rabbeinu, okay, I'm opening up, by saying that, God is opening up the ability for Moshe Rabbeinu to plead on behalf of the Jewish people. God could have just gone Zappo, right? God could have gone Zappo and just destroyed the Jewish people. He's obviously saying, okay, hold me back, somebody. That means somebody getting, okay, so he's saying to Moshe Rabbeinu, give me a chance to, let me destroy them. So Moshe, oh, please Hashem, that's what he wants. He wants Moshe Rabbeinu to appeal for the Jewish people. Yeah.
If you want to rebuke someone, is there any harm in doing that if you're not sure if you have influence over them or not?
Yeah, but if you're not sure, that means you probably don't. Think to yourself about the video. By the way, rebuke also, how you rebuke also has to be. We conjure, when you hear the word rebuke, it comes. It sounds like getting in his face. You have to be. Only certain people could do that. Sometimes rebuke has to be very harsh. But generally, people will not respond to harsh rebuke from their peers. People may rebuke the harsh rebuke from those who they feel are above them. And sometimes parents have to call kids across the carpet. Yes. But in general, effective rebuke is not going to be done harsh. As somebody once said, if you feel like rebuking somebody, don't. Because it's not going to come from the right place. Then it's just going to come from anger. People get very defensive very quickly. There's a statement in the Gemara. Somebody said, one of the Amorim said, no one in our day and age knows how to give rebuke, and no one knows how to accept rebuke. You tell somebody you got a splinter between your teeth, they'll say to you, you got a cross beam between your eyes. I mean, when you come over and say, well, by the way, you should stop talking during davening. Well, listen to you. You ought to stop eating treif. There's always going to be some sort of hit. What do you call it?
I'd rather just leave it.
You have to know. You have to know if you're a person who could. In this is a situation. But the Jewish people could have rebuked the Erev Rav. They certainly could have stood up for God's honor. Right. For us in our day and age, you have to be very. You have to. What's the expression? Save your bullets. You're few and far between. Never heard that expression until? Save your bullets? That means that when you're in a family situation, in an educational situation, as a parent, you could spend all day long saying, don't. No. Everything is no. Everything is, could I do this? No. Could I do this? Yeah, save your bullets. There are going to have to be those selective times when you got to pull rank. So if you do it too much, then the kid's just going to breed resentment. So you have to. That's called save your bullets. Don't come down. Don't come down on people until it's really necessary. And it's not so easy to know when. Save your bullets.